Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown Bethpage, Long Island, New York, for another amazing episode of How to Win at Business. And if you're watching live, give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay because it does something with our analytics and it makes me feel good. If anything I say resonates with you, and even if it doesn't, you can always book a free chat with me. I love talking about business, about saving money on taxes legally. Uh, and we could talk about how people tried to save taxes illegally and it didn't really work out too well for them. But in any event, uh, tonight again, we're going to be talking about the IRS's insane plan to hire 87,000 new IRS agents, revenue officers, and revenue agents whose sole mission really is to collect money. Now, they say that they're going to go after the wealthy people, the people with all the money, the deep pockets that aren't paying taxes. Well, they're already all over them. And if they're not, what the heck is wrong with them? They should have been all over that to the begin with. Maybe they need some lessons in administration because that's really the problem. It is a massive job. I feel for the people that work at the IRS. My aunt worked there for over 20 years. I know a bunch of other people because the IRS has a facility on Long Island. So, people I know have worked there. uh, it's not a good place to work. Okay. It's just not a good work environment. And it is what it is. The bottom line is it's broken. It's been broken. And you can't just throw billions of dollars at a problem that is fundamentally broken. It's fundamentally broken from the bottom up. Okay. They are still not processing tax refunds that were due people from last year's tax filings, but they're still sending out notices. The notices that for some reason the notice is part of the machine didn't skip a beat. And that's why we have Mastermind with Joe. It used to be Mastermind with Joe DeChara, but I thought, less is more. So if you go to Mastermind with Joe, we meet every Friday now at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 8:30 a.m. Pacific Time if you're on the left coast. Uh, we do have a lot of friends out on the left coast, and I feel for you. I feel for you because California is like a whole nother world when it comes to taxes and compliance. And we should look at that. We should look at what's going on in California because it's going to be a ripple effect. I believe that some of the things that California was doing were unconstitutional and just rude. I mean, they are just rude to people in business, small businesses, the people that have the least amount of money, that can least afford it, and it's harassment. It's harassment. It's governmental bullying. It's Steve Forbes called it, what did he call it? Modern socialism. The regulatory state. In other words, the government is controlling small businesses and the economy and the power by making us fill out stupid forms. I mean, it's like every other time, every other day, I wake up and there's another state or local agency where you're supposed to register. You're supposed to register your business. So if you live in Huntington Beach, California, first of all, if you want to incorporate, you incorporate. You got to pay California $800 a year to have an LLC or a corporation. That okay, so that's at the higher end of the spectrum. So okay, Well, you got to also file a statement of information. They want $25 for that. Then, if you're in Huntington Beach, California, they require you to have a business license, which you got to apply for the business license. And if you're in LA County, same thing. You got to pay uh, the city registration fee. And a lot of people open businesses and they're not even aware of this. They don't know. What happens is they open a business, they get a letter, and now what's happening, folks, what's happening, because I have a crystal ball, I saw this coming a long, long, long time ago, is the different agencies, the different government agencies, and probably private businesses are sharing data. They're just sharing data. For instance, this insane tax bill, well, the infrastructure bill, whatever they want to call it, is giving the IRS a toll. And let's face it, I mean, this could have been done a long time ago. It probably would have stopped a lot of pain and misery. But the fact is that there's a lot of businesses that never file tax returns. And that's not right. I don't condone that. And what they do is they open up a business, whether it's a sole proprietorship or an LLC or a corporation, and they register with the state, they get a tax ID number, and that's all you really need to open up a bank account. And then they just forget to file tax returns. But now they have a bank account and they have transactions. And the IRS in the past had no way of knowing this. They had no way to cross reference who was actually doing banking and who was filing tax returns. Well, now it's going to be machine driven. It's going to be easy for them to identify millions of people that have forgotten to file the tax returns, business owners. Okay, so that's one of the things that is on the horizon. Also, you know, localities like Huntington Beach, New York City, you need all kinds of special registrations depending on what industry you're in. Uh, they also called it, Steve Forbes called it, the occupational licensing issue, where if you know how to do something, let's say artistic, like you know how to do hair, you know how to do braids, and you want to do that and make some extra money on the side. Well, in New York City, you need to have a license to do that. And to get a license, you got to pay to go to a school and you got to pay them. And, it takes time and a lot of money. And, that's something that most people that are living from week to week that are looking to do these side gigs don't have the time or the money. So who are they protecting? Who are they helping? They're not helping small businesses. Are they helping the public? I mean, I don't have the hair to get. I don't know if somebody, maybe I could let it grow and you put the braids in. But if I want to get it done, I mean, what's going to happen? It's not like they're sticking me with a needle or taking blood or something. I just don't get it. The only reason I could see is from an administrative standpoint, they get to control people by saying you can't do this unless you tell us about it, and we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to make you file the forms. You're going to have to pay us whatever, and if you don't do this, we're going to take your license. You're not going to be able to be in business. Now, if you're a professional, let's say you're a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, a CPA, you got to go through the whole nother set of hoops to be incorporated, to do business as a corporation or as an LLC. You got to go with your state education department. And I'm not saying that any of these things are right or wrong. I'm just pointing out that this makes it was hard enough to start and run a good business. Now you add all of these different layers and 87,000 IRS agents. What is it going to do to people that are on the fringes, people that might succeed if they're just given a little bit of leeway, maybe a little bit of time. Uh, but what is going on now is not the solution. My prediction is that it's going to come back to bite us. When I say us, I mean the whole country. It's gonna be bad for a lot of people. It's gonna be good for some people, like everything, like people that are in business like me that offer services to help people that are gonna be railroaded. Okay. Uh, but if I wasn't doing this, I would be doing something else. So, I would rather be doing something else than informing people of the uh, upcoming inevitable financial chaos that is going to go ripple through the whole world, because the whole world, our economy affects the whole world. So think about that. So what exactly are all of these agents going to be doing? Because I could tell you in a nutshell based on a couple of tax audits that I just closed. Two of them, one of them was for $250,000. They said that our client owed. Another one was for 16,000. But what was interesting was the way that they were both handled from different parts of the country. Okay, one was from the West Coast, one was from the East Coast. Okay, in both cases, our clients had all of their records, all the receipts, all the statements, everything. So it wasn't like they didn't keep business records. And what the IRS does now, you don't make an appointment and go down and meet with them and they ask you for your documents and then they go. No, what they do is they ask you to fax everything to them. So everything now is electronic, and they don't spot check. They just ask them for everything. They said, just send us all your statements, all your receipts. So now in both cases, what normally happens is they'll go through it and they'll say, well, they'll pick out the stuff that is questionable, and they'll say, well, we're not going to allow this because of that, and blah, blah, blah. In both cases, what the agent did, what the revenue officer did was they disallowed all of the expense, 100%, uh, based on the fact or the theory that none of these were business expenses. Not a penny that both clients spent on their business, which was clearly business. Uh, they said, well, it wasn't business, which means they must have been doing it for fun. It must have been a hobby. So my question to them is, who runs a trucking business and pays $250,000 in wages, $80,000 in insurance, $50,000 in repairs, $60,000 in fuel as a hobby? Who does it? Where do they come up with the idea that this was not business related? Same thing in the other case. It was a business owner that launched a movie. It's a business. Long story short, the agent said, "Well, how do we know this is for business? We're disallowing everything." Now, I've had plenty of cases where people kept terrible records. They just didn't have records. It was hard to prove. But these two clients had everything. They had everything. They complied. They did what the agent asked. And with the big one, with the it was over $500,000 that they disallowed. They said that she owed them over 250,000. The other client, they were facing 16,000. Now, both of them had gone to other professionals to see what can be done. And I don't know what's going on out there, but nobody recognized this for what it was, which was the IRS. The IRS totally bullying these people that were defending themselves. They didn't have an accountant, a lawyer, an enrolled agent. They didn't have anybody uh, to stand up for them. They were just dealing directly with the IRS agent who seemed pretty nice. They have good phone manners. They're on the phone all the time. But there was just something wrong with how it was done, the questions that they asked. And if you're wondering what these 87,000 new IRS employees are going to be doing, they're going to be snooping around. They're going to be looking for blood. They're going to be, because think about it. You just started a job with 80,000 other people and you want to do good. Okay, how do you do good? Well, it's a numbers thing. You close too many cases with no changes. You're not bringing in the money. The IRS has been doing analytics before Google was even thought of. So they have all the analytics. They're doing their numbers crunching, their ratios. So they're going to be out there, and it's going to backfire. I think it's probably going to take, 5 or 6 years before there's a massive cry out from the public saying, because that's what I came into in the 80s. Okay, the IRS was out of control. I think the top rate was like 90%. And they were harassing, they were bullying taxpayers, and that's where we are again. The more things change, the more they stay the same. It's going to be financial chaos. If you think that COVID caused problems for your business, this is going to be worse. The good news is we see you coming. We see it coming. We can get prepared for it. There's steps that you could take right now to make sure that if they knock on your door, you got nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. That's what we do at Bedrock Business Builders. So if you have any questions about this, like I said before, all you got to do is go to Time with Joe. Okay, I love these little tools and gizmos. And we'll just chat. We'll talk about, what's going on, how you could protect yourself. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless. Thank you for the comments, whoever that is. I will go back and check it out. But I will be back again. Actually, I'm going to be back in a couple of hours with the awesome interview, one of our new clients that I'm really looking forward to getting to know and interviewing her. And you can see us here again at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.